We're going to take a look at TJ Tollakson, winner of Ironman USA this year, 2011, coming through the bike course here at the halfway point. We're going to play this at our full speed, which goes down to 300 frames per second here, so we can get a good slow motion shot of TJ coming through. Of course, TJ is known for his biking skills and also the fact that he's very willing to experiment with his equipment and his position to try to get the fastest setup. So it's interesting to see exactly what he's using here. First thing you might notice is that this is a Zip beam bike here, 2001 vintage beam bike. These bikes were outlawed by the UCI sometime in the mid to late 90s after they began using them in or similar bikes in the Tour de France time trials, and they UCI quickly outlawed them. They may well be the fastest frame design, especially when you've got a disc on the rear. I know that I had a soft ride, still do have a soft ride Power V, which was a similar bike, a little cruder than the Zip, but I did have it in the wind tunnel versus a Cervelo P3, and it appeared to just be very superior to the P3 as far as the drag is concerned. So it's interesting to see that TJ has gone back to one of these vintage bikes and seems to be having some great results on it this year. We can also notice his position here, which has now become well known, called the Mantis position in many cases. Floyd Landis made it famous some years ago. I kind of call it the ski racer position because that's really what it's very close to. If you look at a downhill ski racer, that's exactly what they're doing, putting their hands up, their poles will be back, putting their hands up in front of their face. And what this position is going to do, if it is rideable, is essentially send the air around the rider, give the rider potentially a better shape, a lower coefficient of drag by sending the air around the rider instead of allowing it to come in to this area right here. It's difficult from a positioning standpoint to get a position that's very rideable for any length of time, but I think TJ's obviously done a good job with it, part of which he uses, looks like he may still be using athletic supporter cups here for his elbows, which hold his elbows, cup his elbows here really well so that he's not sliding in either direction. And then he sets his hands up pretty much level with his chin and torso, so that we can see that, you know, this is all pretty much level here, and that sends that airflow around him. Also, notice that helmet, very small track helmet, no tail on it, and you might wonder what's up with that. You've probably seen some of the helmets that Sky cycling team has been using in the time trials, which do have a blunt rounded tail on them. The purpose, my guess at the purpose for that helmet is the overall smaller frontal area. So when MIT did a study of different helmets in the wind tunnel, they found, and there is a published study on this, they found that the lowest drag setup was no helmet at all. So a bare head, a bald head essentially, was the fastest setup. And why was that? Well, it's not the fastest shape because it's just a round head, but the reduction in frontal area caused by the naked head was superior in overall drag to a larger arrow-shaped helmet. Certainly they did find that the aero helmets were better than a standard helmet, but the fact that many of the aero helmets make your head so much larger than it is without a helmet, it may be that TJ has discovered that wearing this very low-profile helmet, which doesn't really hardly increases the size of his head at all, results in overall less drag than wearing a bulkier aero helmet that has a better coefficient of drag because of its shape, but a much larger frontal area. So therefore the net drag force on that helmet is even greater. So certainly TJ's been having some good results this year with this setup, and it'll be interesting to see if any manufacturers pick up on any of this.